everyone, it's Lupe from BrunoPlanningCO. It is such an exciting time right now. We have the new Life Planner launch very soon. If you haven't heard already, it's going to be on Monday, May 3rd for the EC Insiders. So if you're not an EC Insider or if you're new to ERIN CONDREN, I went ahead and put the link in the description so you can get more information about that. But the general launch date is going to be on Tuesday, May 4th. So we are so close to new planners. So I thought it was a great time for me to share my overall experience with the ERIN CONDREN planners, specifically the Daily Duo, which I've used for about a year now. I will talk a little bit about the new collection towards the end of the video, but definitely stay tuned to my channel and to my Instagram. We aren't allowed to share a ton of information yet, but that is definitely coming soon, and I will be receiving some of the items ahead of time so I can share with you and so that you're prepared for launch day. If you're new to the ERIN CONDREN brand or to the ERIN CONDREN planners, you may know that there is a life planner, which is what their planners are called, but this is the Daily Duo, and the reason why it's called the Daily Duo, it's because there is the daily layout, which it has, and it comes in 2 books. And the reason why it comes in 2 books is because since you have all of those daily pages and there's so many of them, it would be quite a thick coil if you just had 1 book. Now, I know that this is saying the same for the new launch of the planners for 2021, so you can still expect a duo system for this year if you plan on purchasing during launch. So as I mentioned, when you purchase the Daily Duo, you get the 2 books, and it's going to come with all of the great things that we love about ERIN CONDREN, that what I personally love too, which is the interchangeable covers. So this is the one that I'm currently using right now, which is why it's a nice kind of spring theme. And then this one, which I used last year, still has my December cover because I just never changed it. Such a beautiful cover. This one came with the winter surprise box, by the way. And yeah, so this one is an interchangeable cover as well. They both have the 80-pound Mohawk paper, so they're basically the same book, except this one, the first one that we're going to get, is the July to December. This is from 2020, of course. So this year I would just say 2021. And then the one I'm currently using goes from January to June of 2021. And something that they did last year, which I'm not sure if they're doing this year, is you got to customize one of your books. So if you're, again, unfamiliar with ERIN CONDREN, you get to customize your book. This one isn't, and neither is this one. So those aren't great examples of this. But this one here is also an ERIN CONDREN cover, which I know is punched, and I'll explain all of that a little bit later. But this one I did go ahead and personalize it with my name. So for the Daily Duo, you were allowed to customize one of the books, so 1 cover, and then the other one would be a kind of set cover that you can't customize. But they did give you a coupon for a free cover with the purchase of your Daily Duo, which I thought was really great. And I'm sure that that makes for a faster production time, a faster process for us to get our planners really quickly, because, you know, if you're personalizing 2 books, it's just, I'm sure it gets a little bit kind of complex in terms of production. But the free cover is really nice, and I hope that they do that this year as well. Okay, so let's talk about this 3rd book that I have here, because it might be confusing some of you guys, because I keep saying Daily Duo, but I have 3 books in front of me. So this is actually the planner that I used when I started my Instagram and my YouTube channel, and it's actually an ERIN CONDREN planner. So it's the ERIN CONDREN Daily Life Planner, but this is not the Daily Duo. This is actually the planner that was used before the Daily Duo even came out. And as you can see, it's punched as like a binder page because it was part of the Binder Life Planner launch. So these pages aren't exactly like the Daily Duo pages, but they are very similar. So you can see how you have the today. And if you're new to ERIN CONDREN and have no idea what the Daily Duo looks like, I will definitely go ahead and show that. But I just want to show you what this one looks like first. And it's very similar. You have your hourly, your to-dos, this box. There's no calendar, which you'll see in the Daily Duo later. But this is very much similar to what the Daily Duo would become. And I started this daily planning in April as well. Let me go back to April. Oh my gosh, look at this planning style that I had so long ago. I know this isn't what this video is about, but I just quickly want to show you. So I started in April 8th. So again, a little bit more than a year that I've been planning in kind of this daily way. And my handwriting was so terrible. Look at this. I didn't use any stickers or anything. It was just a list, which is totally okay. That is something that I love to do on occasion, but it's just really funny to see how I planned way when I first got this planner. But anyways, so I started it in April, and I used it all the way up to, oh, this is the day that I opened my sticker shop. I forgot I bookmarked it. It was such an exciting day, and I cannot believe that it's been almost a year. I'm so excited. I'm planning a lot of stuff for the 1st year anniversary, and just It's so exciting. But anyways, so I used this planner from April to July 8th, it looks like. So the new planners had come out, the Daily Duo had come out, and I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to purchase it, only because I already had basically the same layout and I didn't know that it was worth kind of getting another planner. So let's go into the Daily Duo. So I'll keep this page open so we can see kind of the differences, even though this isn't sold anymore, but it just goes along with my story, right? So here's my Daily Duo from last year. So this was July 8th. And so I started the Daily Duo on, see, I didn't even fill out July's calendar. And these are blank. So I started July 9th then in my Daily Duo. So let me just show you a little bit of the differences between the binder pages I had used and then these. And the reason why I'm showing you as well is because I believe that the new Daily Duos that are going to come out this year are going to have a very similar layout to what is being currently offered. So I want to show you kind of the transition from kind of the first version of the daily to the second version to the now version, which I will share with you at a later date. But if you can see, this one only had the hours and it went from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then had a couple blank ones. And the new versions go from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. with the half-hour line in each hour. You still have the to-dos, you still have this box down here, and then you did have a calendar here, but not here. Actually, in this one, they gave you the calendar on every other page, which I thought was pretty useful. And that brings me to what I love about the Daily Duo, which is the space. There is so much space. For me, that's a pro because I need all of that space. And that really is what made me change from these pages to the Daily Duo and to buy it, because I was really running out of space. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to write down. Everything kind of seemed a little bit jumbled, and I didn't even use a lot of stickers here. But when I did, things did get a little bit kind of, smushed together. So I was really wanting some more space. And as you can see, a lot of this space wasn't used really well in the first edition. You had kind of a lot of space up here that was taken up by the date, whereas with the Daily Duo, they really cut that down a lot, which is great for everything else. So let me show you some spreads in here. If you are new to my channel, I do plan my home, my shop, and my school to-dos in my Daily Duo. So that is quite a lot of to-dos, which is why, again, I need all of that space. So here's something that I found where it was like a ton of to-dos. So as you can see, I filled out all of the to-do section. I went ahead and wrote down my whole entire schedule in the hourly. So again, what I like to do is I like to plan all of my to-dos, and then those to-dos I take and I schedule them into the hourly section. So as you can see, I have my periods here, and then I scheduled tasks and to-dos kind of around those periods that I teach or that I'm at school. And then over here, I have my weekend spread, ton of to-dos, ton of things I need to get done, all can fit in these layouts. The space is definitely wonderful for me. Again, full days. And let me show you some other days in my more recent spreads. So again, I really do use up all of the space. Sometimes, and we'll talk about this later, and maybe one of the cons are these boxes down here. But right now I'm just talking about the space that you get for the hourly section and just how everything is kind of spaced out there. But yeah, it's definitely been working really well for me. Ton of to-dos. Let me see if I can get to something more recent real quick. This day I took a day off, so that's why it looks a little bit blank. So the overall spacing has really worked for me, from the width of the rows to the to-dos and the width of those, and also kind of the space that is blank. So you have some space on the top, and let me go to a blank one so you can see a little bit better. But you don't have a ton of space up here, but what I do like to use it for, as you can see, and if you follow me, I like to use washi, or I like to use just thin washi, which looks really pretty. Or Monday or Wednesdays and Thursdays, I typically don't do any washi on my spreads, just because I like to keep those 2 days a little bit more simple, but it still looks great. It's a little bit more blank, but I've come to really like seeing more white space in my spreads. It's a great space to use or not to use. I think the layout is really great. And then I also like having spaces for things that don't necessarily fit in my to-do or in my hourly section, like tasks that I want to highlight, like calling my mom, which is really important, space for my weather. Sometimes I do like to use this box on here for quotes or some habit trackers, or again, tasks that are a little bit more, not necessarily more important, but something that I just want to highlight for that day. That's something that I've come to love, to be able to have the option of using. And in talking about the sizings of things, I think the layout is really important. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I love how it has the hourly section and the to-do section all in one page. And that's one of the things that I talk about in a different video where I ask you if the Daily Duo is maybe good for you. Now make sure to link that video down in the description, because I do talk a little bit about should you use a daily planner and does it fit in kind of your lifestyle or what you want to be planning. For me, I have a million to-dos a day, and I have to make sure that I schedule them so that I can actually complete them. And that's actually something that I have been practicing in this last year, that I've I'm not going to say I perfected it, because there are days where I really don't want to do anything, but my productivity has gone up so much in this last year, and I feel so much better about it than I ever have before. There's just too much for me to do to not have kind of a schedule in terms of what I need to get done. So that's why this one just works so well for me. I know that a lot of people who have gotten the Daily Duo say that they just don't have enough to write down, which is something, again, I talk about in the other video, but that makes sense. This is daily planning. You have a ton of space. So if you're really not going to be filling it out as much as like I do, because I do 3 different things in my day, my home, my shop, and my school, and you only have your work task, or you only have your home or personal task, and that only takes part of your day, then you are going to see a lot of blank space, which is completely fine for a lot of people. But some people just found it like it was too much, and that is totally okay. Maybe what you need is just a to-do list, which means maybe you just need a horizontal planner or a vertical planner where you can jot down those to-dos for those days and not worry about scheduling it throughout the day. I don't want to say that the daily planners are only geared toward people who have a lot to do, because that's not necessarily true. It definitely works for me, but everyone has their own style of planning. Everyone's mind works a little bit differently. Everyone's habits are different. My best suggestion for you, if you're thinking about the Daily Duo and haven't used it before, is mock up a few days of your life using this layout. You don't have to print a layout out. You could do this on loose leaf or just a plain white paper, and write down the times, write down your to-dos, do it for a few days and see how it feels for you. Because one other thing you have to realize is if you're going to be planning daily, what I do is I plan the night before. That's what works for me. But some people plan their week on a Sunday or the week before. So that's an important part of the daily planning, because you need to know when you're going to be planning those days. And it's going to be different for everyone, but you won't really know until you try it. And I'm not saying buy every single planner. I will never say that, because they are very great quality, but I don't suggest buying all of the different versions and spending all of that money just to figure out which one you like. I really would suggest using mock-ups to see if this is something you're going to like. And a couple of other things that aren't necessarily Daily Duo specific, but just LifePlanner specific and ERIN CONDREN brand, are the design of the planners. So of course, I love the interchangeable covers. They're one of my favorite parts and one of the kind of more unique features of this brand versus other brands. So I know that there are a few other planner systems that have interchangeable covers, but I really do love this system. I think the covers are great. They're always beautiful. You can customize them. This is definitely something that attracted me to ERIN CONDREN in the beginning when I was first purchasing my teacher planner from them. And I've always loved the art and the designs that come with the planners. Like I said, I've used the teacher planners before, so that's where I've kind of got introduced to some of the designs. But like this beautiful layers design, which they came out with last year, was absolutely beautiful. A lot of people loved it, including me. It's so colorful, it's so pretty. And this year they have even more options, which is really, really exciting. If you're neutral, they have options. If you want something that's cute but maybe not as bright, they'd have options. If you love bright colors and colorful and mid-century circles especially, you are gonna love the new collection. So the design is always definitely an appeal for me in terms of using these planners. And this layers design is definitely one of my favorites. I love how they incorporate it in the months. As you can see, it's up there, and I went ahead and matched some of my stickers in my monthly spreads to kind of correlate with those colors. But I always love how they take the designs and incorporate them into the monthly pages especially. And if you notice in the Daily Duo, they have the colors that correspond to the months. And here you just get this nice little band, which I really like. I like that it's not, all layers and all of that color, just because, again, I like to use stickers. I like to use different colors in my spreads, not necessarily always green. I don't always want that. And this is funny because I just realized last week that I really don't like the color green too much, at least in my spreads. I did a green spread. I can show you, but I really didn't like it because it just, I don't know if I chose the wrong colors. I don't know. So I really didn't like this purple and green spread, which I showed actually earlier. But anyways, that's not the point. What was I talking about? The color they do incorporate, which I love, again, because sometimes I color coordinate my spreads to those colors like here, or sometimes I just cover them up because I don't really want to use that color. For example, here, I just covered it up. I didn't want to use, what was this? This was this teal color, which is actually really pretty, but I didn't want to use it here, so I just covered it up. And it's not a lot of covering up. It's not a lot of whiteout or anything like that. So I really love that they do that, and I think they're going to keep it pretty much the same for this new release, which is really great. And then one of the last things I love, of course, is the paper. So we can never say enough about the paper. I know we all love it. I know that a lot of people who have switched to a different planner than this one, or for any of the ERIN CONDREN planners, they always miss the paper. I'm not going to say everyone, of course, but many people do miss the paper just because it is so luxurious feeling. It is one of the best that I have found in terms of writing and kind of perfecting my writing. I'm not perfecting my writing. It's really not that great, but practicing my writing and making it better. I really think this is a great paper for that. It's really nice and thick, and it has almost this kind of gritty texture to it. I don't know what the technical term of it is. I'm sure other people know the technical term of it, but it's not really slick where your pen just kind of shoots off and you have to try to control it, which again is why I think it's so great for handwriting, because it does give you a little bit of texture, a little bit of friction, so that you can write a little bit better. So that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love it. So I've said a lot of great things about the Daily Duo and how much I love it, because I really, really do. I don't want to be super dramatic, but it really has changed my life in that it has improved my productivity so much. And I don't know what I would have done if I had decided to start my sticker shop and I didn't have this planner. I really don't know, because it's given me the structure to really have enough time for my sticker shop, for school, and for everything else that I have to do in my home and my personal life. It really has, and I can't imagine what I would have done without it the last year. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that I don't like, some of the things that I would like to change, and then some things that are changing that I'm kind of pretty sad that are changing for this year. So this box on here that is blank, I use it about half of the time. So about half of the week I find a use for it, and the other half I just leave it blank. And that's because there is no structure for me. And as you probably noticed, I've been talking a lot about structure, and I like the structure of this layout. I just don't necessarily know sometimes what to do with this. So what I have found, and I actually have a video on this as well, which I will link down below, one of my earlier videos, so be kind guys, I didn't know what I was doing too much, if I know at all right now. But I posted a video on different ways, I think 15 ways you can use this space. And so I do like to follow that myself when I'm using that. So a lot of the times I use it for habits or habit tracking. I use it for quotes. So here is just a really simple, just begin. Here's the day that I got vaccinated. So I used it there. I mean, it's a great space for that for sure. Memory keeping too is one thing I didn't mention in that video, but it's definitely a good thing you can use. I've recently been using it for a shopping list, and I think, you know, like here I just left them blank again just because I don't really know how to use them all of the time, but most of the time I just use them for like quotes and things like that. So it's not something very important for me to have. I don't necessarily need a quote every single day. If I do, I can always put it up here or up there, right? I really would just like more to-dos. If this was all to-dos down here, that would be great. I would use it up, and if I didn't, I would still probably put a quote there if I wanted to, but as long as I had lines, I feel like I would find a better use for it. I'm like neutral to it, but I really would like more to-do lines, so maybe I'm not so neutral about it. And along with that, we also have this space here with the calendar, which by the way, it looks like the calendar is staying. I know a lot of people really don't like the calendar. I am again neutral to it. I don't cover it up as often as I think I used to. Let me see, it's today. I didn't cover it here. I just highlight the month, put the date there. Sometimes I cover it. I didn't know the last time I covered it. So here I covered it with one of my sticky notes from my shop just to say that it was a half-day institute day. So I don't cover it all of the time. Sometimes I do look at it when I don't want to take out my phone and I know that it's right there in front of me. That's always convenient, but then I could also just use my phone. So I don't know. A lot of other planners that I know don't like it, cover it up. white it out or put something else in there. So maybe that's a sign that perhaps we don't need it and isn't very useful. And speaking of things that aren't necessarily useful, again, for me, these are just things that I necessarily don't find useful, are the dashboard pages. And I posted this on my stories a while back on what I do with these pages. And what I do is I just go ahead and, oh, this is coming off. I tape them together with double-sided tape, so you can maybe hear that it's sticky a little bit, but it's not super sticky that you can't take it out. But I just stick them together so that when I flip from my month to the next page, it just kind of comes together because I don't use them. So the dashboard pages, if you're unfamiliar, you have a notes page here, and then you have this dashboard page, and then you get into your days. And a lot of people use this, and they use it really well. They have habit trackers, they have goals, they have birthdays, and all of this wonderful stuff. I just don't. I don't have a lot of habits to track. Maybe I should, but it's just not something that I do. I do track my water dailies on the daily pages, so that's something that I do track. In terms of goals, I don't really like setting monthly goals. That's just me. In terms of birthdays, I usually put birthdays in the monthly calendar, and I just haven't found a use for it. So this is a con for me only because I don't use it, and so it's wasted space, and so I just tape them together. But it's definitely not a huge con. It's just I don't use it, and that's okay, I guess. And one thing that I don't use, but I definitely want to use, is the 6-month kind of planning page. So in the beginning of the planner, which I just realized I didn't do a good job of like flipping through, but in the beginning, you do have these 6 boxes where you could set your like 6-month goals or maybe things you want to do in certain months. And then you do have the calendars for all of the months, along with some more notes or some more space that you can use for tracking things or planning some tasks. And I have been wanting to fill this out for a long time now, and I just haven't sat down and done it. So this isn't something that I'm not using. This is actually something I want to use with my new planner. But anyway, so that's what you have. And then you have your 2022 calendar and then your monthly starts. But these pages I really like. And I know I am in the con section of this video, so it doesn't make sense for me to show you this right now, but I just wanted to show you. Is this video all over the place? I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling, but I really do love this planner so much, and I just wanted to share it because with the new planner launch, I just want to make sure that I give you my feedback on how it's been for an entire year with the specific planner and how I like to use it. Now in the back, one other thing that I would like to see is more notes pages. So right now I use the notes pages all the way in the back. So this is the last day that we have this planner. Then in the back, you have 2 notes pages, and then that's it. So this is what I use for my cleaning schedule, which I also will link down below if you want to check out. But you only have these 2 pages. More notes pages are always great. I'm sure no one is going to complain because they added more notes pages. So if you're thinking about the Daily Duo, there's actually a new size that you can choose. And we're going to talk about that really quickly. So again, this is the 7x9 size, which I absolutely love. Again, I use it very well and it works for me. But there is going to be a new size, and that's going to be this A5 size. So the A5 size I'll show here in real life because I have the goal planner, which is the A5 size. I'll show you a comparison of the pages. I'll just put them next to each other, but you will have an option for that A5 size, which it says is about 5.8 inches to about 8.3.5 inches. So definitely smaller, and that will be available for the Daily Duo layout, which is wonderful. And then you also have the A5 ring agenda, which is essentially a binder in this really, really cute kind of envelope planner thing. I don't know what to call it, but it's really cute. And again, it's the A5 size, and you'll be able to get the inserts for the daily. So this is the ERIN CONDREN 7x9 Daily Duo that we were just talking about. And then this is the A5 size. So this is what that size would look like in comparison. Now, I'm not talking about thickness because I don't know what the Daily Duo ones will look like in terms of thickness or how big the coil is. So that's not what we're talking about here. We're just going to talk about the pages. Is it really this dark in here? It's just super cloudy and stormy outside. I just wanted to make sure I filmed this for you guys so I can get it out in time before the launch. But anyways, so again, we're just looking at the overall size of the planner. So you can see, let me do it page to page. Does that make sense? Or coil to coil? Let's do it like this. We'll kind of ignore the coils for now, and we're just looking at the page to page. So you can see it's a little bit less wide and just a tad less tall. Let me straighten it out for you guys a little bit. Again, I'm doing it kind of cover to cover, page to page. Ignore the coil a little bit. So there we are. Yeah, so a little bit taller for the 7x9 versus the A5 size. Now let's get inside because that's really going to give you an idea of how much smaller these pages are going to be. From the previews that has already been shared with everyone, it looks like the Daily Duo page is going to stay exactly the same as in the A5 size. So you can imagine how this is going to look like on one of these pages. So let me go ahead and show you what that kind of looks like. So I'm going to put it corner to corner. So there we are. So you can see that it's quite a bit of space that you're cutting off there from the top. And then in terms of actual width, because that's kind of the most important part with the A5 size, the length is not really necessarily cut off a ton, but if you look at the width, you can see that it's quite significant in terms of the width of the planner. So you need to imagine, because I don't have it with me here, but you need to imagine the Daily Duo page shrunk down to fit in this size planner. And I know everyone is excited. I've seen the Facebook groups and I'm like, oh man, everybody's like super excited about the A5. I never even thought that that was something that everyone wanted, but it's really great to see. For me though, as I've spent so much of this video talking about, I love the space of the 7x9. I really do. It's perfect for me, for my writing. I write big. I like writing big. It fits all of my to-dos. I really feel like this size for me would be super restricting and I would have to purposely write smaller, which I don't like to do. Everything would just be more jumbled. And imagining a page like this shrunk down to a page like this, I can imagine how full it's going to look and how kind of overwhelming it's going to be for me. Recently, I've actually really liked having a lot more white space. It gives me a little bit more kind of like peace of mind. I don't know if that's necessarily what it does, but I have so much going on that sometimes I do like to see a little bit of white in my planner so I'm not super overwhelmed. I definitely love my stickers, my washi, everything that makes it really functional for me and pretty and something I love to look at, but I have also loved that white space and I'm not going to get that here. I'm just not going to get it. I either have to stop using washi and some of these bigger stickers and then maybe it'll be fine, but I can't see myself planning in the same style that I have now. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try it, of course. I will try the A5. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try the A5 Daily Duo. Let me know if this is your first time buying the Daily Duo or even thinking about it. Ask me any questions that you have about it that maybe I didn't talk about. I will definitely be sure to answer. I'm just so curious as to what people are going to choose this time around. Again, I was like really surprised that everybody wanted the A5. I'm so curious as to how people are going to use it and use the space. So I'm actually editing the video that you guys are just watching and I realized I forgot to talk about one of the most important parts of, or one of the most important things that is changing from the Daily Duo from last year to the new one that's launching in May, and that is the weekend pages. So as you can see in the one that I have now, the weekend pages are all on one page. So you have your Saturday, Sunday, and then you go to your Monday and your Tuesday. But in the new planners, they're going to be on separate pages, which I know a lot of people have been wanting, and I'm so glad that the ERIN CONDREN team has listened to those people and that they're changing that. For me personally though, it's not something that I wish that was changed. I'm actually a little bit disappointed and it's not going to change my mind on which planner I get. I'm still going to get the Daily Duo because I love it so much, but I have just started to really fall in love with the Saturday and Sunday layouts, and that is because all I really need for the weekends are to-do lists. Just like I have here, just a bunch of to-dos for the weekend, mostly for my home or for personal and for my shop, which I always work on the weekends. So that's all I really need these pages for. And I love having them on the same page so I can see my Saturday and my Sunday at once. And then I won't have to like flip through to the Sunday part. It works so well for me. And another reason why is because during the week, I am not, overly strict on my to-do list, but I am very realistic with what I can get done during the week. To-dos, I have a very limited amount of time and a ton of things to do that I need to make sure I'm getting those things done during the week. Now, during the weekend then, I really like to take a break from that kind of mindset and have more of a fluid to-do list. So even though I have put all of these to-dos on Saturday and all of these on Sunday, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get all of these things done on Saturday. It's very very, very fluid, mostly because we don't wake up at the same time as during the week most of the time. Sometimes we have other things to do, some things take longer than other things. Sometimes I just really want to relax with my husband and I don't get to a lot of things, so I'll do it on Sunday instead, or sometimes I'll even move it to another day in the week. I like keeping those to-dos a little bit more fluid. I like seeing it all on one page for my entire weekend. For me, unless it's like a doctor's appointment or something, I don't have anything scheduled for the weekends. So this has really worked for me. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with Saturday and Sunday on 2 different pages. It's gonna be kind of a lot for me. So we'll definitely talk about it more in my plan with me's after I get that planner and after we start planning in them. But yeah, I might have to just use one of the pages for both of them and not use the times, because we haven't seen them yet, but I'm assuming that the Saturday and Sunday will be this entire layout. So one of these pages will be Saturday and the other one will be the same thing, but for Sunday. So I definitely don't need those 2 pages. So I might just cover the times on the Saturday and write Saturday, Sunday, and then just use it as a to-do. I really don't know. It's not my favorite part of the new launch, and I think I'm in the minority when thinking like that, but I really have just recently more so come to really love using the weekend like this specifically. And yeah, I just wanted to pop on in and talk about that because I realized that I didn't, and I think it was a really important point to make. And again, if you want sneak peeks before launch, definitely subscribe to the channel as I will have more content for sure. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I like to post a lot of my spreads too, if you liked any that you saw here today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye everyone.